Hello, First World Facebook friends. I noticed quite a few people have been doing this ALS Ice Bucket Challenge and posting videos on Facebook. Whilst giving to charity is highly commendable, the choice of the charity and the means used has raised a few questions in my head, and I'd like to share them with you. Firstly, it's a cynic in me. How many of you are actually giving money to ALS, or motor neurone disease as it's known in the UK? In fact, how many of you know what ALS actually is? But the other question that came to my mind was about the substance that you're using to do these challenges. I imagine that most of you are using perfectly safe, sanitised, fresh water from your tap and ice cubes from your fridge to do it. Now, whilst this is the same water that you flush your turds away with every morning, it's also, in other parts of the world, a very rare and precious commodity. And I've got a few facts that you might like to consider. Now, ALS, whilst being a terrible disease that kills people, it affects about 2 in 100,000 people. On a worldwide scale, that would be about 126,000 deaths per year through ALS or motor neurone disease. Now, the ALS charity has received, allegedly, $80 million since this initiative began, for about 5,600 annual deaths in the USA per year. It's a lot of money. Now, whilst ALS affects 2 in 100,000 people, 500,000 children die every year from lack of access to safe drinking water and poor sanitation. That's 1,400 a day, or about 1 every 50 seconds, I think. That's just children under 5. 748 million people in the world don't have access to safe water. That's 1 in 10 people. And 2.5 billion, yet 2.5 billion people in the world don't have access to safe sanitation. That's 1 in 3 people on the planet. Basically, that means they're having a turd, they're doing their poo outside in the open or in large communal latrines, where lots of other people have also put all their poo in and sometimes around, making for some very unsanitary conditions and places where diseases can spread very easily. So I've got a new challenge for you. If you want, rather than 15 seconds of fame, this will give you about 15 minutes of fame. My challenge is this bucket challenge. This bucket has got about 20 litres of water in it, which I reckon my family of 4 could just about get by on. Call it 2.5 litres each to drink a day, and 2.5 litres for some very basic sanitation, hand washing, minimum washing of a few clothes. A lot of people in the world have to carry their own water, have to go and fetch it. And the people who do a lot of the fetching are children and women. So my challenge to you is to take 20 litres of water, stick it on your head, under your arm, whatever, and carry it for a kilometre. A lot of people have to walk a lot more than that to get their drinking water, which isn't necessarily safe drinking water. So I'm going to give it a go, and I'd like you to do the same thing too. Just to prove a point, Arthur, my son who's 8, come over here Arthur, is going to try and pick up the bucket. Arthur, do you think you could walk for an hour with that bucket?
No.
Right, okay. See you later. Okay, I'm done. That took me 10 minutes. But I'm wearing nice walking shoes, running shoes. I did it on a tarmac road, very easy terrain, and it was only a kilometre. Some of these people have to walk 40, 50, 60 minutes one way to go and fill up their containers with water, carrying multiple containers, bring them back. That's at the crack of dawn before they go to school when they're kids. Or if they're mums, then that'll be one of their daily tasks that also include pounding the millet pounding the grain into a flour, cooking, looking after the fields, growing the vegetables, raising the family. It's a lot harder for them than it is for me. So off you go, fill up your bucket with 20 litres of water. You might find it easier to use a jerry can, and go for a walk and let me know how far you go. Most importantly, have a look at some charities that can help out. wateraid.com is a very good one, or tobeagirl.com as well. I'll post the links underneath this. Cheerio.